Hi, I'm Ian Marshall, and in this video we're going to be reviewing and I'll be showing you how to set up the Mission Engineering SP1-ND, which has been specially designed for the Quad Cortex. Mission Engineering have especially designed the SP1-ND for the Quad Cortex, saying that the potentiometer, which is the pot inside which does all the expression reading, is especially matched to the precise response of the Quad Cortex. So in this video, let's have a look at all the features that are actually on the pedal. First of all, the build quality of the pedal is exactly what you would expect. It is a typical expression pedal. It is built from extremely hard metal and it feels like it's actually bomb-proof pretty much, this thing. So it is very, very durable. It comes in a lovely grey finish, which is also matching the colour of the Quad Cortex, which I particularly like and love. It has the Mission Engineering logo on the front of it. On the bottom, you've got 4 rubber feet with screws in it, so I'm sure you can take the screws out and the rubber feet out to fit it to some boards of some sort, or to pedal boards. I discovered when I was actually trying to build a pedal board by putting this pedal onto it, unfortunately when you take the rubber feet off and screw the screws back in, it doesn't create a flat surface for you to stick it to a pedal board. But what Mission Engineering have developed and what they have created is one of these. Now this, if you can see it, is one of the SR1 pedal rising kits, and what it is, it's a piece of plastic which you replace the rubber feet with, put the screws back in through this plate, and then it creates a perfectly flat surface for you to stick it onto a pedal board. And you even get included with it a couple of Velcro strips, but in the case that I'm doing now, I'm actually building a Temple Audio pedal board for my Quad Cortex and expression pedal, and I can show you in this video just up here where I actually did that, so and how I did that. And in terms of inputs and outputs, you've got a blocked input, which obviously you don't need, but then you also have output 1 and output 2, which would be plugged into the Quad Cortex. And the reason why you've got 2 outputs here is because one of them is to actually control the expression itself, and the second output is to control the switch. So this is actually a sort of dual working pedal, in the sense that it has the expression, which you can set all the parameters on the Quad Cortex to what you want, but it also has the switch, which you can also use in the same configuration and actually assign it to any of the effects that you want. So for starters, it's a very, very durable, well built and well thought out product. Now let's have a look at what you get in the box. You get a set of instructions, which are also handy, but then also you get, which is really, really handy, is you get an extra pad, which is to actually go above the switch. So obviously at the moment you can see that there's a pad inside the Quad Cortex where the switch is obviously rubbing against when you switch it on and off, but obviously that goes after a while, so they're giving you a replacement one, and they've also given you 2 replacement nuts to go where the jack sockets are, and also a ring or a washer, which I'm not quite sure what that goes with at the moment, but I'm sure that there's actually a washer inside because I've not actually opened up the units yet, but you do have a replacement washer. And you also get an Allen key, which you might be wondering, what is that Allen key for? Now the Allen key is for a little tiny clamp which you'll find at the back in this little region just here, which you can actually then customize how resistant the actual switch is itself and actually the expression is itself. So you can either tighten up or loosen it up if you want, but I actually find that feature really good, because if you want to actually customize it a little bit more and maybe use the expression pedal as a volume pedal, you might want to tie it up a little bit more and tighten it up so it actually flows a lot quicker and a lot easier. Or you can loosen it up if you want it more of as a wah effect, or have it somewhere in the middle. But that's why you get an Allen key with it, because there is a really well placed and designed clamp in the bottom for you to actually tighten it up and loosen it up. So that's a really great idea which they've done there. Brilliant. So you might be wondering why Mission Engineering have got 2 outputs on them, and the reason why is one of those outputs controls the actual expression itself and the other output controls the switch. So if you want to use both of them, you can by using 2 TRS cables to go into your Quad Cortex, or if you just want to use it as an expression, you just need to plug one of them on. So the configuration that I'm going for is that I actually want to use the features of both the switch and the expression in my Quad Cortex, and obviously I can set the parameters. I can tell the Quad Cortex anything that I want to control via this expression or via the switch, and I'll show you that a little bit later in this video. Now for a quick tip for you, if you are going to be getting the SP1-ND, you need to really make sure that you buy TRS jack leads, not normal jack leads, because this unit does not use jack leads, it uses TRS to connect to the Quad Cortex. And if you use normal jack to jacks, it will not work. So I actually bought two of these, because obviously there's two outputs on the actual SP1 to go into my Quad Cortex, and these made by a company called Rock Boards, who are fantastic, really lovely leads, because they're really flat, which obviously when you put them on your pedal board, you can actually really push them up and get the pedals up against each other. So that's a really little great feature with these, but make sure, as I said, you get a TRS cable, not a jack lead. So this part of the video, I'm going to show you how to set up your SP1 with your Quad Cortex. So what I've done, when I plug it in, I'm using output number 1 and 2 going into expression input number 1 and 2, and I made sure that output 1 goes to input 1 on the expression, and output 2 of the expression goes to input 2 on the expression on the back of the Quad Cortex. The first thing you need to do is that you need to scroll down and you need to calibrate it. So I will click on my expression number 1 input, and this is the actual expression itself. So what I'll do is I'll hit calibrate, and then I'll rock the pedal a little bit, and hopefully you should see that it will start moving here where it says the position, and you can see that's now all beautifully calibrated with the Quad Cortex. Make sure you give it the full range so it's fully calibrated, and once that's done, you hit save. And then same thing with expression number 2. Now expression 2 is the actual switch, which is in the bottom of the expression pedal here, which is you use to cock it down. So this will only be the switch, so you'll either get 0 or it'll be the full-on 1 for everything. So we'll do the same thing again. We hit calibrate, and once it's ready, we'll turn the switch off, we'll turn it back on, and if we do that a couple of times, it should then start working and giving you either 0 and 1 every time you click the switch. So that is now calibrated, and we'll hit save. Okay. And now we're ready to use the expression pedal. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get an effect, and we're going to get something like a wah. So here we go, there's a wah. I'm going to use the Bad Horsey, and now that is in my effects line. Make sure I turned it on so it's not bypassed. And when you first use this, it normally won't be working, because you have to make sure you assign the effects on the wah to the expression pedal, and the way you do that is you go into the 3 dots, you then go assign expression pedal, and then you'll start off with number 1 and you'll say connect. Now this is going to be the actual amount of wah you're going to get, so then you're going to have to use the parameter. So we're going to assign it to the wah, and hopefully now when you see that, now it's assigned. So the expression is now assigned to the wah setting. You can see that moving up and down, and there we go, that is now done. But what you can also do, which is also really good, is that you can also assign the way in which it bypasses, and I quite like the features of this. So you know, you can either have it and what I've got here sets here heel toe, so and I've also got it inverted as well, which basically means when we've got it in the heel toe position, it will be active, but when we push it down to the inverted selection of the heel toe, which is foot to the floor, and in the switch position, it will actually then bypass it automatically. So rather than having to switch it on and off the wah, it will then automatically start working the minute I start rocking the pedal. I'll do all my wiring, and then I'll put it into that position, and then it'll automatically bypass, which I think is really, really cool. And you can also set how quickly that kind of kicks in, so that's another parameter you can use. So that's how you need to assign it, and then you click OK, and then you're basically ready to go. And you can then now use that effect. But also what's really good about the SP1 and also the Quad Cortex is that you can assign pretty much any parameter on any one of the blocks to use with the expression pedal. So say for example, if I go to something like into my amp settings, and if I do the same thing again, go to assign expression pedal, I'll decide I'll use the expression itself. I can assign anything like the treble, the bass, the drive, the mid, the EQs, anything I want to be assigned to either the expression pedal itself or the switch on the back, which I think is a really unique, brilliant feature about the Quad Cortex, and also using the SP1 with it, which has been perfectly designed to be calibrated exactly what the Quad Cortex needs. So that is how you set up your SP1 with the Quad Cortex. So my final thoughts on the SP1 Mission Engineering expression pedal for the Quad Cortex is, I think it's absolutely fantastic. If you are a session guitar player like myself, I mean, for me, I play all styles of music and I play in all different bands, and I also do orchestra pit work, I do studio work, and expression pedal is something that's vitally important for me if I want to use wah or some volume swelling effects to control my sounds. This is definitely a really highly recommended option. It is on the bit of a pricey side at about £160 UK price, but overall what you are getting is you are getting a pedal that has, number one, some really good features with being, you've got two outputs on it, one for the switch, one for the expression itself. You also then have the adjustability to actually adjust the clamp on it to give it more resistance or less resistance. So overall, it's a really great product, and actually using it with the Quad Cortex is very easy once you've just got into it. And the one thing I would highly recommend you do is, once you've used something like some of the wahs or something like that, make sure you save your settings once you've assigned the wah and the actual switch to the ons and offs of the effect. Make sure you set that as a default, so every time when you actually use that effect again, it will automatically assign those parameters straight away to the actual effect. So yeah, overall, it's absolutely brilliant, and I absolutely love it, and I'm sure it's going to help me with all the further work that I'll do in the future. So yeah, so for me and my channel, and this is my very first ever video, and I hope you'll stick around, and if you want, obviously please like and subscribe. I'm going to be bringing out loads more videos on loads more things to do with guitar playing, session playing, gear, everything, so please subscribe and ring that bell. And for me today, thank you so much, and I'll see you all soon.